disability alone can make me discriminated.
Yeah.
And then you are a woman.
Yeah.
And
wow.
not only a woman,
Yeah.
but an old woman.
Wow.
So,
are you single?
I'm single.
Also a single woman.
Also a single woman. And it's like in Kenya,
yeah.
if you have a disability, you are not expected to have a choice. You are maybe supposed to take whoever comes along. And if you're not doing that...
In what? In marriage?
In marriage, because marriage itself is, in Kenya and maybe in Africa,
yes.
is not for you, for two. It is for community. So that, and village, so that when you are taken as a bride-to-be, they would ask, Allah, did you miss somebody to marry?
Oh my.
Would you like to be assisted? And you end up feeling very rejected
yeah.
from the beginning.
And of course you are a woman like any other.
They are not accessible.
So you're already 70 years now.
Yes,
and you bet 60 years, 10 years ago.
I'm actually 75.
Wow.
I celebrated my 75th year.
Yes.
And but when I got the first promotion,
yeah,
there was a lot of cry. How can she be promoted? Wow. And she is also given permission to leave job early. So I challenged him and told him, return this duty to be normal, what you call normal.
I don't want to be favored.
I don't want to be favored. In 1976, I bought myself a tuk-tuk.
1976. Tuk-tuks who are there?
There was one which was ordered.
Wow. With your money now?
Yeah, from by car and general.
Oh.
I took a loan.
Wow.
Yeah. And they brought me a tuk-tuk. It did not need any adjustment or anything, or nothing to modify. I used it because one leg was strong to hold the brakes.
You drove it yourself?
I drove it myself.
Wow.
For 16 years.
Wow.
But in 1994, with the clamor of retrenchment,
you are among them.
I felt, in fact, I was not chased away.
Yeah.
It is me who felt like I can do something which I have always wanted to do.
Yeah.
That is creating disability awareness.
Yeah.
And helping especially the mothers.
Yeah.
Of the children with disabilities.
Yes.
To navigate the way, because they find themselves very abandoned.
Yeah.
And incidentally, I got, it wasn't an election, I think I was nominated to represent the persons with disabilities in the Nairobi region for National Council of Churches of Kenya.
Hello viewers and welcome to Lucy Mworia Network, a network that educates, informs, inspires and listens to older persons in our country. This week, or before the 15th of this month, we are celebrating, we are discussing, and we are talking about many things about the older persons in our country. And one of them, on the 15th June, it is the World Elderly Abuse Awareness Day, which is celebrated all over the world and not leaving Kenya behind. This year's theme for the day, it is Spotlight on Older Persons in Emergencies. The theme is Spotlight on Older Persons in Emergencies. Emergencies is like what we just had in Nairobi. We had the floods. where a lot of people lost their lives. And of course, a lot of older people were affected. It may not be in record or recorded how many older people were affected. We're also going to talk about our senior citizen bill, which is also around the country on discussion, and it will be having the climaxing of public participation on the 19th of this month. So 19th of this month is the climax of the public participation on the Senior Citizens Bill 2024. And these places where it will be happening, it will be in Nairobi, at Kariokoo, it will be in the other coast province, it will be in Kilifi County, in Upper Eastern. People will be coming to bring their views on in Meru County, and the people from Western, people from North Rift, all these areas will be having participations on that day. And we ask you, all of you, not just the older persons, come in support of the bill, Senior Citizen Bill 2024. With us today, we have a very special guest who is an older person activist and champions for the rights of older persons around the country. She is the CEO of Focus Disabled and also a person living with disability. But that has not kept her behind. Living with a disability, it is not inability. And we're going to hear more from our guest. How are you this evening?
I am fine.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yes, you may introduce, look at the camera, introduce yourself and tell our viewers who you are.
I am Jane Miano, and I was born in Kirinyaga over 70 years ago now.
How?
And I suffered polio, bout of polio at 8 months of age. So I have grown experiencing discrimination in many stages in my life. But I'm thankful to God I have come this far. I am the Executive Director of Focus of Disabled Persons, and I'm also actively doing advocacy on the rights and the needs of older persons. And one very special need is assistive products, because as people age, they also suffer from non-communicable diseases.
Jane Miano, before we get to the important things, I know you have a couple of them, and maybe you may want to tell the viewers. So when you were born with the polio, what happened? Did you just happen to be as smart at 70 as you are, very eloquent, you went to school? We know a lot of parents out there, even until today, they hide their children with disability. How did you happen to go to school?
You are right, Lucy.
Yes.
I found myself walking with my 4 limbs in the village, and I felt very bitter because I wondered why God chose me, only me, to walk that way. In fact, we were only 2 girls, and it was through my mother's effort who rehabilitated me at home with handmade equipments. She had 3 poles, 2 at each end, 1 at each end, and then 1 in the middle. And I was to walk there every day with my sister supervising and reporting me if I ever failed to do so. So I continued to do that until I was able to walk with on my feet, but holding the pole. So she went and cut a very ordinary stick, which I started using, and it is the one that I used to go to school in the village, which was near. And while we were there, I felt like I wasn't fitting because the other children were all walking.
It was a normal school?
Yes, it was a regular school.
Okay.
It was not special.
Okay.
And so after 5 years, it was the Kenya received the independence, and people moved to their farms, and we moved about 4 kilometers away from the village. And there, it was through my mother's effort who carried me every morning to school and met me in the evening as I went back home, that I was able to learn. And after that, I was admitted in also a regular school, secondary school, called Kabare Secondary School,
Yeah, I know
in
Kabare,
Kirinyaga.
yeah.
And I was there for 4 years.
You must have done very well to go to Kabare.
It was also a new school.
Yeah, oh.
And so most of the girls who are bigger than me were also helping. They carried me up from the dormitories were up the hill and the classes were down. So they used to help me. And I'm always very, very grateful when I remember them.
Wow.
The journey did not end there because my mom, like many parents with children with disabilities, suffered a divorce.
Wow.
They separated. I wouldn't say it is purely on my condition, but it was a part of the issue. And so she was left with 5 children, including myself, to bring up. And I couldn't continue much with education after Form 4 because it is my uncle who helped us until I completed Form 4. And after completing, I had to come to Nairobi. So I had, while I was in school, I had chosen to be a secretary, but I didn't know much about it. So I was invited through newspaper to come and do some interview at the Kenya school, government school for secretariat.
Wow.
For secretary. And I came all the way, but because of my disability, I couldn't go through the interview. I slipped off using my stick.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, this cannot be, you cannot make it.
So you didn't have a wheelchair then?
Not a wheelchair, not crutches.
Even as
It was a single stick.
Wow.
So it couldn't do on the slippery floor.
Wow.
Because at home, I was used to actually dig as you go. And when it is soil or sand, it is okay.
Yeah.
But on
So how did you do it
cemented
in
floor,
school?
I used the same.
Kabare?
The same stick, yeah. The same stick. And even when I reported, I did not have a shoe.
Wow.
So it's
And is one of your legs is strong, you couldn't stand by it?
I couldn't stand without
A
the
stick.
stick,
Yeah.
the simple stick,
Wow.
which I held with the 2 hands.
And I'm sure you did well in
That is the
Kabare.
And then I was invited now to that government secretarial college.
Yes.
But they told me it was very involving, and I didn't know what I was. In fact, I asked them, would I have been a teacher or a nurse or whom would I have been? and they told me the secretarial job
It's not
was
for
also
you.
very much involving, which I understood because it's not, I didn't understand then,
Yeah.
but now I do, because it meant you take the files up, you bring them down. It wasn't digital like now,
Yeah.
when the boss can share the work
And
you
the floor
type,
you were saying, and
and
there were
the
no
floor,
wheelchairs or
and
anything.
you cannot.
Yeah.
So I failed that interview, and that was in 1970. And it took me almost an year to move to labor bureaus, which were in Nairobi then.
Yeah.
I was able to use the public means then with my stake. I would just hold up and I'd go up, board the bus. And so I would come to Nairobi almost every day.
From Kirinyaga?
From Otiende,
Oh,
where
Otiende
my
Estate,
uncle had
yeah.
accommodated me.
By yourself?
Yeah. My uncle and the wife had accommodated me.
Yeah.
So I would come from there every morning to go to the labor places.
Yes.
And labor offices, and they would say, immediately they see me.
They say no.
Yes, and they would have invited me.
Wow.
But when they see me...
Oh, when you apply through the newspaper, you are called.
I would make sure that I have gone and realize here they have invited people.
For the interviews.
For the interview to come. So if they have invited them tomorrow, then I would come and wait. But immediately you go in and they see you, they give up on you.
Wow.
So it took me almost an year. And I had even gone to the PS of Labor then. He was called Mr. Lai in Gill House. Had gone to complain that I have passed and I have been invited to interviews and I have failed on account of disability. So he told me he was very sorry. He had not seen, in fact he said he had not seen somebody, a girl, who had performed to that level and in Nairobi looking for a job. So I asked him, whom have you seen, young men? And I have promised to take them for some course, some training at the rehabilitation college at Bagadhiwe.
Yes.
Yeah. It was under construction. So he told me, I will take you together with those young men, but you will be going home because you are the only lady. Yeah.
Oh, it was a boarding college?
It was a boarding one.
Wow.
But he had said when finally it is finished or completed. So I went to wait, but he also told me, because these people seem to be very discriminatory, they will not accept you even after you have gone through college.
Yeah.
So the best thing is to go on looking for a job, and if you get one, you grab it. And
if you get it before we admit
you. So what happened is I also learned that the Kenya Post, and it was East African Post and Telecommunication, was to employ people. So I applied.
You must have been tough, lady.
I applied and applied either for, I said I can be a telegraphist or a telephonist. So I was called for that interview. Somehow, I still fell, like the way I had fallen at the Secretary College.
Because of the floor?
Yeah, I slipped and fell. And I sat down, of course, even at the other place. So they were asking me, if we were to take you, how would you be coming to work? I said in the same way.
The same way I came for the interview?
Yes, because when I fell,
I
stood up and sat. So I didn't know I had passed, but they had already I had already told them, can you please give me my papers?
Yeah.
I did, I did not.
At least you see
I
how
no
you
longer
did.
cared.
Yeah.
I felt like I was just going, but I can't make it. I was giving up. So they gave me, they didn't give me the papers. They told me, can you come tomorrow to check for the results? And when I went, I was, the others were called and left. And then we were left 8 ladies. They were also called. I was left. And when I got in, a white man called Mr. Potter from Britain
Yeah.
told me, you passed the interview more than all the others. Of course, it was oral.
Yeah.
But your people did not want to take you
Wow.
because they are not used to see people like you working. But back at home, I have seen you are good workers.
Yeah.
You do.
Determined.
So he told me, I'll not only take you to work, but also take you for training.
Wow.
Go with the same spirit.
Yes.
Count yourself employed
Yeah.
and go for training.
The one I'm going to send you.
Yes, it was in Central Training School
Yeah.
in Bagadi.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got a job. And I started immediately to help my mother to educate
The others.
the others. And of course, from there, I attended a number of other courses in work courses, on work courses, on job. Yeah, that's what I mean. I attended a number, but also I continued working, doing voluntary work on Christian matters.
In churches.
In churches for Scripture Union, Kenya Students Christian Fellowship,
Yes.
in schools. So any minute that I was free,
You are
that
volunteering
that
somewhere.
is what I was doing.
Still using your stake?
Yes.
Wow.
Except when I got employed, I bought myself a caliper for
What
the
is
weak
that?
leg. It is a caliper is the one that we put on the leg
Oh, to make
it stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 2 crutches. They call them elbow.
Yeah, I
ones
know.
that
They are
hold
the
here.
elbow one. Yeah.
And I felt very strong. So I
How
worked
did you know about all this?
about
Through
what?
work, about buying all these, where I even to buy them?
Oh, wow. As I stayed with my uncle, there were friends who were visiting. And they were asking, is there no way this girl can be helped?
And she's
Because
going
when
to
I
work.
cook them tea,
Yeah.
and I'm holding with one
stick.
steak with one hand,
Yeah.
and whatever else with one hand, one of them said, I guess you need to go somewhere outside you
Yes.
so that you can be supported
Yeah.
to walk better.
Yeah.
And that is what he did. But I used to walk opposite government printers.
Yes.
There is a petrol station
Yeah.
called Ajib. I don't know whether it
Yes.
is the same name.
Yes.
At Ajib House. That is where I was dropped by a bus
Yeah.
every morning. And I would walk to GPO,
Yeah.
to General Post Office,
Wow.
and get there on time.
And start
And,
working.
I am always happy that when I remember, my bosses used to say, if Miss Miano is late, there is something wrong.
Wow.
Because at times my caliper would break as I walk, detach, and I will come to Kabete. I will go to Kabete, Yameno, where APDK is.
Yes.
That is where they would repair it.
Wow.
So I'm always grateful to God when I look back. Now I'm an elder at Kenya Students Christian Fellowship, also an elder at the Scripture Union of Kenya. still supporting them, even if I cannot walk much, in prayer and in any other way.
Wow.
that is
So
possible.
did you retire or you just left the job?
In 1994,
Mm-hmm.
there was a grammar for retrenchment.
Yes.
And I had risen the randa somehow. Although people were not happy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
They were
with
not
some-
happy for you raising up?
No. They
Wow.
some used to ask openly, what is wrong with the post office?
Wow.
Are they mad? How can they
Give
promote
such a person.
such a person?
Wow.
First of all, when I got employed, there was a very sympathetic supervisor who told me you are allowed to be leaving at 4:30.
A white person or
At
an
4,
African?
an African. At 4 instead of 4:30. So that you will have boarded one bus
Before
to
the
Tasker House, then another one to Otiende. But when I got the first promotion,
Yeah.
there was a lot of cry. How can she be promoted?
Wow.
And she is also given permission to leave job early. So I challenged him and told him, return this duty to be normal, what you call normal.
I don't want to be favored.
I don't want to be favored.
Wow.
And when I started working, in 1976, I bought myself a tuk-tuk.
1976.
76.
Tuk-tuks who are there?
There was one which was ordered.
Wow. With your money now?
Yeah, from by Car and General.
Oh.
I took a loan.
Wow.
Yeah, and they brought me a tuk-tuk. It did not need any adjustment or anything, or nothing to modify. I used it because one leg was strong to hold the brakes.
You drove it yourself?
I drove it myself.
Wow.
For 16 years.
Wow. From Otiende to work?
From Otiende to work.
Wow.
And to go to preach. I would go to Kahuhia. I would go to Kirinyaga with it home. A
Tough
very
cookie.
good one. And it is, well, I moved from Otiende in 1983
Yeah.
to a small house which I had bought in Kahawa West.
You already bought a house for yourself.
And then it was halfway done, then you complete. It was a bed sitter. You complete it, which I did, and that is where I'm staying. And while I was there, then I bought a car. Friends helped me to buy a modified car.
Wow.
And I drove it, and it helped me to preach as well as go to work.
Wow.
But in 1994, with the clamor of retrenchment,
You are among the...
I felt, in fact, I was not chased away.
Yeah.
It is me who felt like I can do something which I have always wanted to do.
Yeah.
That is creating disability awareness
Yeah.
and helping especially the mothers
Yeah.
of the children with disabilities
Yes.
to navigate the way, because they find themselves very abandoned.
Yeah.
And incidentally, I got, it wasn't an election, I think I was nominated to represent the persons with disabilities in the Nairobi region for National Council of Churches
Yeah.
of Kenya.
That time there
The
was
NCCK.
there was no movement for disability.
No, it is 2000 and, no, we had already been meeting a few times in
Through
the
the
90s.
churches.
In the 90s,
Yeah.
under the umbrella of NCCK,
Yes.
yeah? And Samuel was engaged, Dr. Samuel Kabwe, to start a desk, yeah?
Wow.
So the desk was already there even when I was working,
Yeah.
and I was in the board
Yes.
for disability
Yeah.
in there.
Yes.
So that way I had a forum a stepping stone to be able to get to churches
Yes.
to do the disability awareness, which I have done, especially after I left work. But immediately I left work, I went to do some theological training,
Yes.
partly, yeah. I would do it remotely, attend the classes twice a month, go and do some research as I do some work. And immediately I left work, the first thing I did was to really vet the milk, because the place is surrounded by many farmers.
Yeah.
Then
Yes.
it was. So I used to get milk, sell it
With your
within
tuk-tuk?
with my car now,
Oh.
the red car. And I would take to people in their houses.
Wow.
They pay at the end of the month, and I pay the farmers.
In Nairobi?
Yes,
Wow.
there.
Yeah.
And,
The cow.
so that's what I was doing as I studied the theology. And I also started doing the beads work. Michief ile ya Masai, the belts, and some beads, vicabus,
Yes.
yeah, bags,
Yeah.
which I have been doing until my hands became...
You did it
very-
yourself?
I did it myself.
Wow.
I did it myself, and I'm just realizing as you age, your limbs
Yeah.
become weaker, and they worsen, they escalate the disability. 04,
Uh-huh.
when I sat on a wheelchair,
For the first time?
for the first time, I got confined on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
My limbs became weak
Mm-hmm.
after some falls,
Mm-hmm.
and also because of overuse,
Yeah.
because I have used them.
And of course,
Since
the
I
body
was
even
young.
is becoming
And
bigger.
I was already becoming a little bit
Yeah.
heavier.
Yeah.
And so I sat on a wheelchair, and I have not been able now to walk
Again.
again.
Yeah.
And my hands have continued to be weaker
Yeah.
as I age,
Yeah.
so that I'm also now not able to drive
The way you
my
could.
modified car
Yeah.
to long distances.
Yes.
And life is not easy because the transport
Yeah.
is expensive.
Yes.
So I would defer
And
to
going
go-
on public transport now,
transport
it's
is
difficult.
not accessible.
It's not accessible.
It's not accessible. You can no longer use a bus or a matatu, because even they are not provided for the wheelchairs.
Yeah.
You don't have a space
Yeah.
to keep your wheelchair when you get, even if people were to lift you in,
Yeah.
it would still be
Difficult.
problematic.
Yeah.
And that is why often the persons with the disabilities are complaining,
Yeah.
especially the wheelchair users,
Yeah.
that they were left on the roadside for long
Wow.
by people,
Yes.
the vehicle drivers.
Yes.
Yes, because
So that was your
the
journey
vehicles are
until
not-
you gotten into the wheelchair now, like
Yes.
you've been there since 2004.
Yes, yes.
And at what time, briefly,
Yes.
the Kenyan government
Yes.
accepted or recognized
Yeah.
people living with disability?
The clamor for disability began worldwide in the 80s, early 80s.
Yes.
And of course, in Kenya it also began, more so in 90s.
Yes.
But we were not supported fully until the signing of the Act, the Disability Act, by the late Honorable Mheshimiwa Kibaki.
Just recently,
Just recently, 2003.
all those years you lived without a bill of people living with disability.
It took quite some time.
Wow. And then after that, things were good.
Things are now moving
Yeah.
because we have now a national council
Yes.
for persons with disabilities
Yeah.
in place.
Yeah.
And the persons with disabilities
Yes.
can apply for assistive products
Yes.
through the council. They can also apply for educational assistance.
Yes.
And they can also apply for development fund.
And also there are many schools now,
Yes.
unlike the times you
Yes.
used to be assistant in
They are not
Katkaba.
enough, the
Yeah.
schools are not enough for
Yes.
disabled,
Yeah.
but there is also integration in Kenya
Yes.
of the schools,
Yes.
so that ideally
Yes.
we should have a school
Yeah.
that is integrated
Yeah.
at the doorstep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that the persons with disability
They don't have to be taken all the way to
Thika or somewhere else.
Yeah.
They would be taken there in the morning by
Yeah.
mom,
And then you
and
go
she
home.
would go to work and come and pick
Yeah.
that child.
Okay.
And that way all would benefit.
Yes.
But we are yet to get to a place where we would say things are good, because those schools are not accessible.
Wow.
Yes? They are not accessible.
So you're already 70 years now.
Yes,
And you bet 60 years, 10
I'm
years
actually
ago.
75.
Wow.
I celebrated my 75th year,
Yes.
and I thank God.
Wow. Now, in Kenya now we would say from the time you became an older person in Kenya, it's 15 years ago.
Yes.
And but the benefits of those who are older persons in Kenya, like this social assistance, starts at age 70.
Yes.
So were you able now to get any assistance yourself?
Incidentally, anybody, the money, the social protection for older persons is a pension. The 2,000 falls under pension. So that if you are working like me,
Yeah.
and you are getting a pension, no matter how small it is,
Yeah.
you are not entitled.
Wow.
And when I was, even when I was younger,
Yeah.
of course I was working,
Yeah.
and I'm not, for disability they consider you would only benefit if you are severely handicapped
Oh.
or severely disabled.
And how do you describe severely now?
It has no criteria,
Yeah.
and that is very questionable.
Yeah.
So there is still cry among the persons with disabilities.
Yeah.
And
Or definition of clearly.
yes,
Yeah.
and there is also cry among the older persons,
Yeah.
because they are saying the 2,000 with the economy
Skyrocketing.
yes,
every day,
skyrocketing,
Yeah.
they are not able to do much.
Yeah.
Maybe buy some little food,
Yeah.
and but they cannot buy their milk,
Yeah.
and they don't have. So if for those who don't have adequate insurance,
Yes.
they are really suffering.
So let us go now now you are moved. You are a person living with the disability all your life.
Yes.
And someone now who has actually entered long time
Yes.
into the bracket of older persons.
Yes.
Her challenges, are they different? There are those challenges with people with disability, and still there are challenges as you enter the old age.
You suffer, I suffer what you call the intersectionality.
Yeah.
Discrimination, because disability alone can make me discriminated.
Yeah.
And then you are a woman,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
not only a woman,
Yeah.
but an old woman.
Wow.
So
Are you single?
I'm single.
Also a single woman.
Also a single woman. And it's like in Kenya,
Yeah.
if you have a disability, you are not expected to have a choice. You are maybe supposed to take whoever comes along. And if you are not doing that,
In what? In marriage?
in marriage, because marriage itself is in Kenya and maybe in Africa
Yes.
is not for you, for two. It is for community, so that and village, so that when you are taken as a bride to be, they would ask, Allah, did you miss somebody to marry?
Oh my.
Would you like to be assisted? And you end up feeling very rejected
Yeah.
from the beginning.
And of course, you are a woman like any other.
And because
Yeah.
I knew God very early,
Yes.
many years,
Yeah.
I didn't want to be belittled or
You refused to
or,
be.
or being made to feel incompetent,
Yeah.
suffering
inability,
inferiority.
unable.
I didn't want to feel that
Yeah.
because my mother loved me from the beginning.
Yes. Bless
Na
her.
upendo mkubwa.
Yeah.
And I'm always very grateful to her
Yeah.
because that is why I was able to go to school.
Yeah.
The other one I would always tell, even those, I tell them, the parents,
We are on the challenges now.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
is to let the child go out.
Let them be.
Let them be.
Yeah.
And as they grow,
Yeah.
they develop just like the other children.
Yeah.
They develop their faculties
Yeah.
in the same way.
Yeah.
If you let them go.
Yeah.
But if you shut them in, then they will be shut in until
They
even when
learn
they
to
are
believe
aged.
in themselves. And
So I have not been shut in
yeah.
from very early,
From living your life.
from living my life.
Yes.
And that is why I'm living even now.
Did you get married at some point?
Not really.
Yeah.
What I did was to, first of all, I took a lot of time
Yeah.
educating my siblings.
Your siblings.
Because my mother,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, as they separated,
Yeah.
she suffered
Yeah.
positive violence,
Yeah.
abuse or
Yeah.
something. And so she became blind,
Yeah. Oh.
yes? So with
Here
that-
you are, and
yeah.
then your mom is blind.
Yeah, that
the
is
person
how-
who loves you most.
Yes.
Wow.
So even after we educated the children,
Mm-hmm.
then gradually she lost her sight and she came to live with me.
Yeah.
She has been living with me permanently from 97 to 2020 when
Yeah.
she died,
Wow.
right?
Rest her
So
peace.
when I was busy educating those, then my brother lost his wife and left 3 toddlers,
Yeah.
girls, and who was there to bring them up.
Ni wewe.
So they also came.
Yeah.
So I'm actually happy. They celebrated my birthday in a big way
Wow.
this last January.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So you're already a mother. You are, you are a mother to your nieces and nephews.
Yes, and
Oh, that's
the
wonderful. Yeah.
many girls that I have also directed to the Lord.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. So those are the challenges.
Mm.
Now you entered old age. What challenges do you find that, you told us, you have said it is calamity after another. It is you are having this, you have lived with disability. You are a woman and a single woman, and now you are old.
I'll give you one.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, in the community,
Yes.
you are not regarded as a full woman. If you don't have maybe your own children, the people where I stay don't know whether I don't have children.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm living with my sister with her children.
Even grandkids
And now I am the granny.
Yeah. Oh, nanny.
So they have given me all the joy. And from the family, I cannot complain. But from the community,
The society.
the society itself, there is that feeling that you are not adequate. But even within life itself, in the house, together with my mother, there are times we would find the girl who is there is feeling like your head, your legs and your eyes are also affecting your heads or your brain.
Yes.
Right? Yeah? Ni kama you,
They
to
are
them you are
intertwined.
not normal.
Yeah.
Or they are actually looking at you from the medical perspective.
Yes.
Yeah? You are sick,
Wow.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And there are several times I have found them having gone, opened the gate,
Yeah.
kept the kuburi together with the funguo
Up.
on my vehicle.
Yeah.
Then they leave. And you would wake up asking, oh, is mom not taking medicine? Oh, you only to find they are gone. So
Or no one is even bringing, no one is remembering.
those challenges, no,
Yeah.
it's because the girl would have gone
Yeah.
and you are not aware.
Yeah.
Now until you reach out to your sister.
So those
or
are
somebody
challenges.
else. Those are the challenges also. And even like yesterday, if I had to tell you,
Yeah.
I did not tell you. When I called an Uber,
Yeah.
I was with my
Your
niece.
assistant, your niece.
And when we were there, the driver asked, hey, uko ni wapi? Nikamwambia. Akauliza, tutatumia njia gani? Nikaanza kumwambia.
After already I may arrive to pick you.
Nikafikiria, what's wrong with this mzee? Ni karibu nimwambie. Akasema, ninauliza huyo ako nyuma.
Wewe sasa?
Huyo
msichana.
Huyo msichana. He thinks I cannot tell. Then we came all the way, now quiet, because what else are you talking?
Yeah.
And when we got here, he said, na upone, utapona.
Oh, he thinks you are sick, you are helpless.
So I realized we need to do a lot of awareness
Yeah.
in the community.
Yes.
And
or actually even maybe you are getting constrained on chair, like you said, it is now when age started catching up. The challenges of, because before you worked with your clashes and you were okay.
Even at the airport,
Yeah.
you would hear an assistant being asked, unapeleka shosho wapi? Unampeleka hospitali, you know.
Yeah.
Those kind of
Oh,
things.
like unapelekwa nje hospitali.
Unapelekwa
Like you
India.
cannot go hanging out abroad also.
No, you can't.
You cannot go as
You are
a
not
tourist.
you are not expected to.
Wow.
And even recently, as I planned to go,
Yeah.
one airline said, I must have a doctor with me if I have to travel with them.
Yeah, I remember you go to a lot of international meetings.
Then I told him, I told
I'm not
them,
sick.
no, I have told these people to cancel. I have told these people, those people who had invited me to cancel. I cannot go with a doctor when I'm going to a meeting.
You are not sick?
I'm not sick. Yes? And now you want to pay the insurance. Insurance for travel.
Sima kidogo.
Insurance for insurance for
Nilikuwa na tumesema utakata hiyo maji ingekuja hata singekuwa. Anyway, so
I would take I mean they insist you pay actually more than double your assistant. Then the travel
agents. Travel insurance. Wow, discrimination right there. Why?
Travel insurance.
Why are you paying more?
It is for older people. Anybody who is over 70.
When you're traveling?
Yes.
But I didn't know that.
Hey.
What?
They will charge you more. Just like now, if you are going to take an insurance as an older person, very few will consider you.
Wow.
Yeah? And if you want to take a loan from bank, my friend, as long as you are over 70, you will not. So those are the discriminations of age. And then if you have a disability, somebody thinks you may not.
Wow.
Yes.
So you, it's a double tragedy. you have disability. No, of course, it's not inability for you. You are a very brilliant lady. And now age catches, because that is inevitable. Everyone will be old.
Yes.
Either you have disability or
Yes.
not.
Yes.
And now people continue to discriminate you more. And it is after we say, after independence, after getting even at least you have a law, you have a bill passed in parliament, you have an act of people living with disability. Now another question.
Yeah.
So there are people who may develop disability even after 60. And this is something also you cannot avoid. How can someone be assisted by the Disability Council?
It is difficult until you register as a person with a disability.
And do they?
I have cases of older people.
Yeah.
One just told me the other day that she went somewhere.
Yeah.
She wanted another organization,
Yeah.
an NGO, to help her with a wheelchair.
Yes.
And then she was told to go and first register with the National Council.
Yes.
But even as if that older person wants to apply, because we can apply through the website, the National Council.
Yeah.
If you want to apply, you'll have to give your registration number.
Wow.
Now.
Yeah, I remember I was asking you for a wheelchair for an older person who was actually being released from the hospital, and they need them. Then you told me they have to register. Yes,
because to benefit
and
through the National
and
Council.
To prove their disability.
To benefit through the National Council, you will go and register so that you have a number to identify you there. But I don't blame them also, because they have to account for the
So actually older people then, they have more problems, because they don't have so far until now, when we are actually debating on having a senior citizen bill 2024, which is on, like we've been in the meeting with you discussing about it, because you also want to come there because you are also older person.
Yes.
So what do you think should be in the bill?
First of all, I would clamor for the National Council for Older Persons, similar to the one of the National Council for Disability.
Yeah.
Because that way, your rights will be supported. Otherwise, right now, the things, the goodies that are being given to the older persons are not supported.
Under the general ministry?
Yes, they are not supported. They are not entrenched rights.
Yeah.
And so it depends on the goodwill of the president of the day or the leader of the day.
Yes.
And so it will be very, very good to have that bill go through.
Yeah.
Because the bill will give way to the National Council, among other things, and also support the rights of older persons.
So you think with the National Council it would work better for the older persons? So what are some of the advantages?
I have already told you that we can get to benefit from the assistive products.
Yes.
You apply through the website, you don't have to go.
Yeah.
And then you will get one, a wheelchair or something. It may not be as quickly for wheelchairs because they are not very much available, but you will get it anyway. But for an older person, they don't have hope because they wait for donors. And even those ones from donors are not maybe what would women? You know, a donor will give what they have.
Not what you need.
Not what you need. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
It is not what you need.
Yeah.
It is what the donor has.
Yeah.
And just recently 2022. I don't remember whether it was October. I went all the way to Geneva.
Yeah.
Because we were making a document.
Yeah.
Called the wheelchair provision guidelines.
Yes.
And so it is already in place.
Yes.
And
that's a global law.
A global law.
Wow.
A WHO one.
A WHO one.
So, and it was launched, and so it is at
in the
work.
pipeline now. It's working.
It is working. But until maybe the provision of the assistive products is entrenched, or not entrenched, but integrated with the healthcare services, the older persons cannot benefit.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, because they are not in the
But if they were integrated into healthcare services,
yeah,
we would be expecting that an older person can go to the dispensary, the nearest dispensary, and be prescribed an assistive device, an assistive product, and then go further to get it.
So, Ms. Meano, a lot of people, and maybe a lot of Kenyans, when they hear older person, they need assistance, they think it's just about money. It's just so the 2,000 is okay. So are there other needs besides just the money that are not even seen?
One of them is accessible transport, and especially public transport, right? So that if I'm able to use a bus, like when I go out, I'm able to use my wheelchair, enter a bus, still seated, come out, still seated on it, and go on my business, right? Now here, you cannot board a bus yourself, and even if you are helped to board, there is no provision for the wheelchair.
Even on the streets.
You can keep it.
Yeah.
And on the streets, there are no pathways where you can walk.
Yes.
So even for somebody with a white cane,
you
cannot walk in the streets of Nairobi.
Or right? in any city.
Or any city. So accessible transport is crucial.
Yes.
In those places, I hear them saying universal design.
Yeah.
Universal design meaning that the vehicle was not made specifically for a person with a disability or an older person.
Yes.
It was made for all.
Yes.
It can be used by all.
Yeah.
If things were to be so, and also the buildings be modified to allow anybody to use, it will be very good.
Wow.
So that is a crucial need.
That's a crucial need.
And also accessible health care.
Yeah.
No, we don't have geriatric doctors or healthy staff.
Yeah.
And so the older persons are finding it very, very hard to
And also on the geriatric, assisting products or devices.
Yeah.
The other day, I think the day before yesterday, I heard Kadhoni Wamushomba talking about how after the bill, the finance bill 2024 goes through, things like diapers are going to go up.
Yes.
And you know, she wasn't aware that the diapers are not only for children.
They are not.
Even there are older persons who use them because, of course, as you grow, because of incontinence.
Yes.
So there are a lot of people who don't know as you age, reading glasses.
Yes.
Like you went to school. It's not that you are stupid, but if you cannot even access reading glasses, just the ones for reading, you can't even read. Hearing aids.
Yes.
You might be even somewhere and you can't. Those are simple, basic devices that assist. You can have someone, like an example we are given somewhere, you have someone and grand shosho amepelekwa hospitali. So when the food comes, she doesn't have dentures. He has no teeth. So you just put the food there and you bring food just like anyone else. So I think those devices you are talking are very important.
Anyway, at one time I was admitted in a hospital.
Yes.
And I decided to stay in a general ward.
Yeah.
For a purpose.
Yeah, uone.
Yeah, I stayed there because I was not very sick.
Yeah.
Although I had a problem with my chest.
Yeah.
And I saw things that I did not want to believe.
Wow.
That an older person would ask, an older lady would ask for a pan.
Oh, for urine?
Yes.
Yeah.
And just be ignored. So, and she ends up urinating on bed.
Then they yell at you again.
He's almost beaten,
Wow.
except we are there.
Yeah.
So by the time I left, I had said, I'm going to write something and put in their suggestion box. But my mother told me not to, and I obeyed her.
Yeah.
She told me, go and think about it.
Yeah.
I told you not to fight with the doctor.
Yeah.
Because he has a needle and you don't have.
Yeah.
So I left the matter, but I spoke to the matron.
Yeah.
And told her things are not good. The environment is not good.
So another challenge I've seen with older persons, and there's nothing for us without us. You cannot plan things for older people when they are not involved.
Exactly.
For example, the bill. So even the way you pass the information about it, the way, you know, the way you target, who are you targeting with the information of the bill? It is them. So are we putting it in a language that they can understand? Are you putting it in a mood? Are you advertising it in a mood that it will reach them? Like, for example, our bill here, the Senior Citizen Bill 2024, the advertisement was done in a newspaper. And barely anybody reads actually national newspapers today, hard copies.
Yeah,
so I wonder if there are any Kenyans actually, how many it got reached to. Because
especially the older people.
Especially the older people. Although the bill is not supposed to be contributed to or participated by older people only, it's for the Kenyans also of goodwill.
Yes.
Because being old, we will all become old.
Yes.
Another thing is the language.
Yeah.
You know, I would suggest information like which is targeting the older person should be in a language that they will understand. It should be in a mode of the mode of transmission should be understandable, like local radios, where people listen more, local TVs, where people, even if possible, it should be in their local languages. Because this thing is not about, it's not for Nairobi. It is for Kenyan older people.
Exactly.
So I think those are some of the things where we start missing the point.
You are right.
So this week is the week also that we are sensitizing or letting the people of Kenya now, because we have the World Elder Awareness Day.
Yes.
I mean Abuse Awareness Day. And it's in global, but in Kenya now we are trying to create that awareness.
Yes.
What can you say about it?
And I'm saying it is very timely.
Yeah.
Because world over, we have faced the climate change.
Yes.
In a bad way.
Yeah.
Where it is either the strong wind.
Yeah.
Or rain.
Yeah.
Flood.
Yeah.
And the older people have been everybody has been affected.
Yeah.
But it becomes worse for older people.
Yeah. Because
they cannot move.
Yeah.
From the flooded places.
Yeah.
And even the places where they are taken for refuge.
Yeah.
You find they cannot, it is not accessible.
In the classrooms.
They are not able to sleep.
Yeah.
They are not, some of them are suffering from diseases.
Yes.
Non-communicable diseases.
Yes.
And so they cannot have their medicine.
Yeah.
On time.
Yeah.
And then it is always bad. One feels bad when you are moved from the usual where you
Environment.
are environment
Yeah.
to a new one.
Yeah.
And it's a time like this one.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we can be able to advocate, shout,
Yeah.
make aware and people aware
Yeah.
of those things that the older persons go through at such a times as emergency times.
So actually, that one of the spotlight on emergencies.
Yes.
It sounds even like it is an abuse by itself.
Yes.
You just said when you move someone abruptly, okay, you are trying to save them, and maybe even the people moving them, they are not even trained people.
Yes.
It's the family. You just back them in the vehicle, in a motorbike, and
that is if you have been saved, because you can easily die. You won't be able to run out of the house.
Yeah.
And also, if you are denied something,
Yeah.
it is also an abuse.
Yeah.
And in a big way.
Yeah.
So lack of care,
Yeah.
lack of the essentials.
Yes.
It's
an abuse.
It's part of
So literally, our older people,
yeah.
like during emergencies, a lot of times
Yes.
we abuse them.
Yes,
I
yes.
know even there are cases during like drought time.
Yes.
There is the food which is donated even by Food for Hunger, and when it's being distributed,
Yes.
the older people don't even have the access.
They
And again, even that World Food for Hunger or World Food Organization, when they are distributing food,
Yeah.
what food are they distributing? Remember these older persons, some of them, what kind of food? Because some of them, they are even on a special diet.
Yes.
But the food that is donated, although it's a donation, that is really targeted the older people.
Yeah.
Some are on special diets. Some cannot even swallow the mahindi, the beans they give them. But it is just publicized that there was food was being given, but they don't care. Did it really reach them? Was it effective? Because the older persons, I think they are like young children. So I think even when there is, during these emergencies, like drought and floods, and you are going to give food, be specific when you reach the older people, because the older people actually, they should not just be bundled just like that. There should be special food for them. Remember during the floods in Mathare, the following day we saw Eric Omondi going to save some children who were on top of the roof for like a day.
Yes.
So in my mind, what was rolling in my mind, I was like, if there were older people in those houses and that floods came, I'm sure even if you are with the house with you and maybe your sister there with young children, if the water comes, she'll run away with the children first. So what I don't even know what happened to the older persons, because I didn't even see anyone talking about
That's
them.
why I say if they ever were saved. Because
If they
during
were ever,
emergency,
yes,
one will run. It is the fittest. Survival for the fittest.
yeah, and if your mother is running, you run with your small kids.
And even if it is a donation of food, if it is for everybody, I don't think a hungry person will wait for another person to go first.
No, they can't.
No.
So they must come up with solutions.
Yes.
And like you said, when they go to where the rescuing places themselves, they are very unfavorable. Maybe even they can even be raped there. So I think they should have even come, if this is a school where they are saving, because emergency is an emergency, they can have a certain school for older persons where it is them.
I think it is a matter of just being prepared. The government being prepared.
Yeah.
The department that is relevant or concerned for emergencies be fully prepared, because an accident is an accident. It can come anytime.
Yeah.
There didn't have to have rained at my Mahiu. The water came from somewhere. and they found them asleep.
Yeah.
So the question is, because
Were
the
we
same
prepared?
things, the same things are happening
Yeah.
even in USA.
Mm-hmm.
But you see them there the following day,
Yeah, they are prepared.
reconstructing the houses.
Yes.
Here, oh my.
Oh my.
Mm.
So as we wind up, I would like you to look at the camera,
Mm-hmm.
and because this bill is very, very close to you as a senior person in the country, for other senior citizens, and it's an important bill, what would you tell our parliament, our senate, and our government at large?
I would tell them each one of us is growing every day. So we should all be involved and very passionately pass the bill so that our rights and needs for older people will be entrenched, will be supported, and that will help us to live dignified lives.
Wow. So there is that thing where you said, me, now you say for yourself, I would want to be abused. Do you remember what we said?
Yes.
I want you to say about you don't want to be abused, and I would say I don't want to abuse.
From the organizations of the older persons,
Yes.
I, Jane Miano, I'm saying, I, Jane Miano,
Yes, I'm saying.
I will not be abused. I would not want to be abused.
This is a message from the older persons organizations, and I am going to say, I, Lucy Mworia, am not going to abuse. So we come to the end of our show, and thank you so much, Ms. Miano, for your time, and just for being there for people living with disability. And now you continue championing for older persons. Thank you so much. And for the rest of Kenyans, the bill is out. That is the Senior Citizen Bill 2024. It's not just a bill for older persons. All of you, the young, the youth, everyone is invited to participate and just champion, lobby, and just champion for that bill. Let us all hold our hands and make sure our older persons have a bill this year. God bless you.